Good afternoon. Oh, wow. Good afternoon. On behalf of my board colleagues, I'd like to call to order the work session. Today is February 10th on a Tuesday. A special welcome to our guest here in attendance, our ABSS staff. Commissioner Pam Thompson, thank you for being with us today. And as always, our friends from the media. Board members, you've had an opportunity to review the agenda. Is there a motion to approve at this time?
I believe the superintendent would like to make some comments. I'd like to make a motion to approve item C2 for superintendent comments.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. So we've amended to add a C2 for superintendent updates. Board members, is there a motion to approve the consent items discussed at our last board meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. I do not have any Board of Education business before you. Does anybody have anything they'd like to bring to the group? If not, we will move into the superintendent portion of our agenda, and I'll turn the floor over to Dr. Fleming.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, board members. I'm going to ask Emily Lynn Atkins to lead our recognition this afternoon.
Good afternoon, board members, Superintendent Fleming. Over the past 2 years, ABSS has been working with Duke Energy programs to help incentivize our investments in high-efficiency facility systems and equipment across the district. These facilities investments help support quality learning environments in our classrooms while being cost-effective and sustainable. Today, we have 2 representatives from Duke Energy to present our school system with an award, the Business Energy Excellence Award. And joining us is Hank Henning, Local Government and Community Relations Manager with Duke Energy, and Terry Albrecht, a Senior Business Energy Advisor with Duke Energy. So I'll welcome them to the podium.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us, Madam Chair, board members, superintendent. My name is Hank Henning. I'm Government and Community Relations Manager with Duke Energy, and we're just privileged to have a few minutes of your time to present you with this award. But before we do, just wanted to talk briefly about the partnership. You know, when I speak before different groups, I always want to just acknowledge that we always appreciate the partnership we have with entities like Burlington County Schools. Schools. But that was a bad slip. Dr. Fleming, excuse me for that. No, you know, a lot of times we get asked, you know, well, why are you all interested in energy savings? And the first thing I always say is, you know, we're involved in this community just like everyone else. Our employees live here, play here, work here. Our kids are educated by you all and your staff and teachers. And it's important to us to work with our customers so the dollars that they're spending on their utility bills are spent efficiently. We want those dollars to remain in the classroom to go towards the operational budget where it's impacted most to the young people that you're trying to educate. And so we want to work with you to do that, and it's just a privilege to have that opportunity to do that. And all the modifications you made to your HVAC, your lighting, your roof, all that stuff to help that building envelope and not let that inefficient energy escape the building. And it also helps us because as we're expanding the state, we're one of the fastest growing states in the country, and we have lots of people wanting to come here. There's lots of energy that's being produced. This actually helps us in our bottom line to not build more power plants. So we can return that energy to customers in an efficient way, and it helps everyone. It helps our customers maintain reliable, affordable power and give back where we can. So I'll turn it over to my counterpart, Terry, and
Great.
We'll get moving with the award.
Well, it's really a pleasure to be here, and we offer a program where we incentivize energy efficiency investments, and Alabama's school system has been making many in the past several years, and just in the past 2 years, we have been able to incentivize and provide the school system with $340,000 of incentives to help promote excellence in in facilities, in maintenance, and really mostly the classroom learning environment. So all this results in that. These investments are also saving the school system at a minimum $110,000 a year just in the projects that we've been able to incentivize. So with that, we want to recognize that. I'd like to ask Jimmy Russell, project manager, and Greg Cook to come up for presentation of an award we have. This upcoming year, we expect even more incentives. There are so many great investments happening within the school system. So with that, it gives me great pleasure to present this Business Energy Excellence Award to the Atlanta school system. So congratulations, and we hope that this partnership can continue as we go forward. So well done, well done. And real special call out to Jimmy, who's really led this effort. It takes some dedication and focus to, complete our applications and check all the boxes and make sure these funds flow. So we're just super proud to be here and proud of our partnership together. So again, thank you.
Really appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Maybe you got a photo or two.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You know, handshake real quick.
Okay. Quick handshake. Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to Duke Energy and Mr. Jimmy Russell, who does a fine job for us. I can tell you a lot of the projects you see around our campus and our roof projects, construction projects, HVAC projects are done because of his wonderful design work and engineering work, and we appreciate him and Mr. Hook. Jimmy works in operations, and so I would say Mr. Hook's his boss, but I think they work together pretty well on things. So I certainly appreciate his efforts and what he does for ABSS. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Oh, the floor is still yours.
Well, good afternoon. I want to take just a couple minutes of the meeting today because it seems like it's been a little while since we've met. It's certainly been a little while since we've been in this boardroom. We did have some asbestos abatement done in here, and if you look around, it looks a little different. You can smell the new carpet. That's a good thing. What I do like about the fact is the state does reimburse the district for asbestos abatement, so a significant portion of it. So our cost has been minimal. Most of this that you see has been done in-house, and there's still some work to do. The temporary tables will be replaced with a permanent board table like this, somewhat maybe attached to this main table, and then we'll have a new podium and some new lighting in here as well. But I think for those that visit us, visit our board meeting, you can tell the sound is a little better. The screens you see around here, we've got more than just a pull-down screen. These TVs are excellent, and it's a little sample of hopefully what you'll see more in our classrooms as well. So really proud of both our operations staff and our technology staff for making this happen. And we're going to do a few things to make it a little nicer in here, but this is a little bit of a renovation of our boardroom. Now if we can do this in all of our schools, we'll be set. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Board members, in January, and we intended on doing this at the evening January meeting, which we did not have, but we want to recognize you and your service to the students of Alamance County and Alamance Burlington School System as board members. January is School Board Appreciation Month, and we want you at least to know that, well, I want to say you're always appreciated every month, but it's good to know that we have a dedicated time to show our appreciation, and we do have a small token of our appreciation that we might hand out to you. We may not. To tell you how much we do appreciate you, and something that you can publicly show that you're members of the school board.
open them now?
You can open them.
We're gonna open them? Oh, we're not gonna open them?
You can open them. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Oh, hello.
And this, there you go. And so we felt like it was okay to get you something fairly nice
Thank you, thank
of
you.
nominal value. It might be mine then. No.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We appreciate your. Yes, Karen and Emily Lynn get the credit for picking those out. I was going to get you like Hickory Farms box or something. That's right. But again, thank you again for your service. Thanks for putting up with me. And that's probably worth 2 of those vests. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. A couple other updates, probably not as exciting, but and there's no gifts for these, but I do want to make sure that our board's aware and our community is aware as well. We've had a little winter weather. I don't know if you realize that or not, but we spent a few days out of school. I'm glad that we were able to get back in some. I know that first day we heard a lot from families saying, oh, my driveway's not great, roads aren't great. Working with our bus drivers and our transportation staff, again, they're excellent. Mr. Hook, again, we felt like we could get into school safely, and we did. We did make a group of superintendents, primarily Piedmont Triad superintendents, but some others around the state, did make a legislative request to extend beyond the 5 remote days because this was an unusual year. It is my understanding that the Senate will not hear that request because of so many school districts breaking the school calendar law. My question, of course, I don't have an answer, but my question is, well, what about the ones that did follow the law? But I haven't heard an answer back on that one yet, but I did want to share, and that was not from our local legislators by any means or local senator. That was, I think, just from leadership, and the response came back to 1 or 2 superintendents. But my understanding is that they will not consider beyond 5 remote days, so we have used our 5 remote days up. We do have just a couple more days banked up, so if we do have another 2 or 3 days, we should be safe before we have to start yanking that time from somewhere else. If for some reason we have another snow apocalypse, my recommendation is to use the days that we have and then calculate till the end of the year and potentially add time on the day rather than taking days from spring break. That is the number one thing you hear. Do whatever you've got to do, but do not take spring break. So I think we have a couple options there as well. Worst case is you could add a day or 2 to the end of the school year as well. We don't want to do that, but if it came down to it, I think we can protect spring break. I feel like if we can get to spring break, we won't have snow after that, but there's been April snows too. So knock on wood there. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an update on that, give you an update that doesn't look like we can count any more remote days if we have them. And as I always say, hopefully next year or in the short session this year, the long session next year, maybe there'll be some action on the school calendar. But I think I've said that for 10 years now. For redistricting, we had 2 what I would consider to be very successful redistricting community meetings. One was before the snow. I couldn't tell you the date on top of my head. And one was last night, rescheduled twice to last night, and that one was at Southeast. The first one was at Williams. And in general, people were very respectful, very friendly in their thoughts. There is a lot of fear around what if I have to move from school A to school B. That's to be expected. I think the community members that attended realized that some school zones would be affected more than others, and most of them showed up, or most of them that did show up are in the zones that would be affected. But just wanted to share that with you, that I think you will hear a lot of concerns, a lot of fears, a lot around athletics. I do believe if a student is transferred, and we're talking middle high school here, if students are transferred, because of, or redistricted because of this project we're going through, we can look at waivers on the athletics so that you don't have to have the wait period. I know that was a question that was asked. We don't know right now because we're not sure what the demand would be of, say, a fifth grader staying back at their original school or an eighth grader staying back at their original school. High school might be a little easier to allow rising seniors to stay where they were, but also when you look at school capacities, the high schools probably would be the least affected. It will probably be elementary and middle, if I had to guess. So those are just some things that I think you'll get hit with, and if you do, you can certainly direct them to me, Mr. Hook, Ms. Atkins. The three of us have been working on this probably the most internally. But some of it's just until we get maps, we just don't know where we're at. And there were some folks last night, I think, upset. They thought they were going to see maps, and we tried to make it very clear that this was just a listening session. So I do believe our school camp folks will work very hard and will do this very fair. I do believe that. So that's another stay tuned type of topic there. Friday, April 17th, a couple months down the road, will be our Legislators in School Day. And we're really going to count on you and our legislators. And we've actually talked about inviting our commissioners. We'll have our cabinet involved, but we want to have a day. And it may be one where some folks can attend a couple in the morning, couple in the afternoon. But we want to take most of the school day and give some options of schools you would like to visit. You could visit them all. You could visit half of them, one of them, whatever the schedule allows for you as board members, our legislative delegation, and our commissioners. So while it's Legislators in School Day, that whole week actually is Legislators in School Week, we want to open it up to our other local policy members as well. And so Emily Lynn and I are working on some great programs we want to showcase, some new schools we'd like to showcase, and some not so new schools we would like to showcase, and everything across the board of as far as some of the exceptional instructional programs we have. And so we're going to work on creating a schedule there as well. And then finally, and I don't think we'll need a vote on this, just a nod of the head, I've been, by our Superintendent Association, I've been invited to a meeting on April 14th, which is our work session that week. My question is, would we be able to shift that one day to April 15th? It's a work session, same time. Would we be able to shift that to the next day, April 15th? That's tax day, by the way. Does everyone seem okay with that? Well, I appreciate that. It's our National Association has asked about 30 superintendents to participate in an event, and thought it was nice they asked me. So that is shifting the 14th to the 15th. So our work session will actually be Wednesday, April 15th at 12:30 p.m. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And Madam Chairman, thank you for allowing me to share some comments. And I'm happy to answer any questions as always.
Thank you, Dr. Fleming. Any questions or comments for Dr. Fleming? Mr. Rogers.
So, Dr. Fleming, because I know the Southeast meeting had to get moved due to the weather, does that change anything around that timeline?
No, no, it did not change the timeline other than that meeting. It did not change the timeline. That was one of the questions. Some folks felt like, wow, we've bumped this out. We really haven't. I talked to the school camp folks because from my experience, you typically release the maps and notifications to the parents in kind of the April time frame. And I checked with them. I said, wow, we've got a lot of folks saying this is awful late. Traditionally, isn't that when it's done? And he confirmed, Matthew Palmer with school camp confirmed that yes, April is usually the time frame that parents are notified. Again, if you've never been through the process, I get that does seem late. But it is on go for that timeline that we have mapped out. We are going to create maybe a more zoomed in timeline of the exact date that we would notify parents, which I believe would be probably the day or two after the board votes. And then we want to identify that time for transfer requests. We may need a new window to do that. So there are some things like that we may have to really look at. But in general, the notification to the parents are still on go, and the snow did not impact that timeline other than last night's meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Any other questions for Dr. Fleming? All right, thank you, sir. Hearing none, I will invite Mr. Messer, our Chief Finance Officer, to the podium.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent. As we work through some logistics here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. While they're getting that together, in our continuing effort to be transparent, you have 5 reconciled budgets before you today. Okay. One more click. There we go. If you'll scroll to page 3. Okay, all right. One more. There you go. Okay. One of the budget amendments relates to the state public school fund. It increases the fund by $1.867 million. The majority of that, the school district received additional state allotments after the budget resolution was approved by the board back in the fall. Those allotments consist of principal and teacher performance bonuses, assistant principal interns, school connectivity, digital learning, literacy intervention, behavioral support, and educational leave. In addition, there was a $7.2 million transfer from classroom teachers to international faculty, which is a requirement to be able to pay international faculty. We can't pay international faculty out of the state teacher allotment because of different regulations related to tax withholdings and things. Plus, those teachers are on contract. We have a contract of services to find those, and doing that helps pay for those contracts. The second one is the local current expense fund budget amendment. There are no increases or decreases to this budget, but but a budget amendment is required because of transfers between existing purposes and program funds. And then once we scroll down to the next page, scroll. There we go. Yes. Basically, we had to transfer $120,000 to cover the new classified employee supplement. It came in a little higher than what we projected. So what we ended up doing was transferring our custodial contract to the state and doing a transfer on the state side to cover those expenses so we could pay for the supplement locally. We knew what we had was an estimate, but it came in a little higher than what we anticipated because of experience. The next amended budget is your federal grants budget. And that increases the federal grants by $1.2 million. And basically, it's additional allotments that were received after our budget resolution for vocational education, homeless, improving teacher quality, language acquisition, and exceptional children. Now, the total federal grants fund is just shy of $19 million as of today. The next budget amendment is for capital outlay. That's a $5.4 million budget amendment in front of you. This is required to put the school bus finance installment payments that the state of North Carolina pays on our behalf. And it's also to budget money for additional bond projects, spending up the bond project money that we didn't include in the original budget resolution. This is nothing, this money doesn't flow through the school's books. It's just accounting entries to make sure that we follow generally accepted accounting principles. With that, our capital outlay budget is a little over $27 million. No budget amendment is needed for the school nutrition fund or the daycare fund, but we do need a small budget amendment for the other local current expense fund. And that is for $912,000. The majority of that relates to school safety grants, that's $792,000. That was a change the state made. Instead of giving us an allotment through the state public school fund, the money was sent directly to us, and we were told to put it in Fund 8. So that is school safety grants. And we received some additional funds from Impact Alamance. So before you today, as presented, if approved, the total budget for ABSS is $304,818,208.
And are you looking for a vote today, or is this information to come back at the evening session?
I think we're asking for a vote at the evening session, I think.
Very good, thank you.
Are there any questions that I can answer? I know there's a lot of numbers in front of you.
Mr. Rogers?
Yep, the one question was back to where you was talking about the classified, I think it was classified supplement, where I guess, I know originally we were just doing it off of an estimate and then got to the actual, and you said there was an adjustment made that switched something over to the state?
Yeah, so the adjustment that was made was we put part of the custodial contract that we paid locally, we moved it to the state. We were able to do that based off of savings that we had recognized throughout the first part of the school year. So we moved that expense to state, and we were able to pay the additional supplement without having to tap into fund balance for that.
Mr. Engel?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tony, any of these changes based on the fact we don't have a state budget?
Not at this time, I would say, Mr. Engel, as far as having a state budget. I mean, our allotments were given to us at the beginning of the school year. You know, we knew that coming in, so we planned accordingly. As far as not having the same amount of low wealth money that we'd had in prior years, I hate to keep going back to that, but that's really the biggest factor that has impacted our current year budget.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And Madam Chair, if I can add to that,
Absolutely.
the biggest impact, two impacts of having one is the low wealth, because there's potentially a provision that could be put into the state budget to allow us to get that $5 million back on low wealth. Or, I forgot the exact dollar amount, but somewhere around $5 million. The second thing, and I think this is the biggest reason we need a state budget, is our classified employees have not seen a salary increase. And while we have covered most of our classified, we have not covered our teacher assistants because they're funded from state funds. So really our teacher assistants and our teachers have really been hammered by not having a state budget, because they've, other than going up on their step, they have not received even a cost of living increase. So.
And as I stated at the joint meeting in January, the employees are in a negative, when they're negative compared to the prior year, because their insurance has gone up, but no pay increase.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Messer?
Just to remind you, we changed the way we presented the budget amendments and the budget because we manage our budget by program, not by purpose code. But you're voting on the purpose code, which is the first two sheets as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Messer.
Thank you, sir.
I believe we have Dr. McWhorter, our Assistant Superintendent of Academics.
Dr. Fleming, Madam Chair, members of the board, it's my pleasure to present our field trips for this month for consent agenda. The first trip that we have is Southern Middle School. Southern Middle School is requesting permission to allow its band and chorus students to travel to perform at Carowinds Festival of Music performances. Performances will be graded and ranked by expert evaluators. Cost per student is $100. Booster Club will help to support students in need, ensuring that no one is left out due to socioeconomics. Western High School is requesting permission to take its AP Physics and AP Calculus classes to Engineering Day, also at Carowinds. Students will actually get to meet a roller coaster engineer and engage in several interactive activities that will provide real-world connections to their content. Donations and fundraisers will be available for students in need, ensuring that no students are left out. Estimated cost is only about $60 per student. The Alamance Virtual School is requesting permission to, again, take its students, 8th grade students, to Expedition Yellowstone. This experience is led by National Park Service educators and will provide students with an opportunity to explore Yellowstone's natural and cultural history through hikes, field investigations, and hands-on activities. This field trip is not until 10/26/26, so this is next school year. Average cost for that will be approximately $700 per student. Scholarships will be available through the Yellowstone Forever platform, which is what students used this past year as well to help mitigate costs. Woodlawn Middle School is requesting permission to send its 7th and 8th grade band and chorus students to Winthrop University to participate in a competition to have their performances judged and rated by an expert panel. This trip occurs on April 17th. The approximate cost is $165 per student, and the school will work with any students in need to ensure that nobody is left out. And the last trip for your consideration is Southern High School is requesting to send 5 qualifying FCCLA students to Orlando for the National Life Smart Knowledge Bowl, where teams will compete in athletic competition of the mind, testing their knowledge on personal finances, consumer rights, technology, health, safety, and the environment against other state champions from across the country. The estimated cost is $800 per student. Our CTE department will cover the cost of travel, leaving only about $300 per student left to be covered. The school will also have fundraisers and sponsorships available to ensure that no students are excluded due to socioeconomic status. These items for your consideration for consent agenda. Any questions?
I just have a comment. The first is Carowinds. The second is that I remember going on a roller coaster in high school where you would hold a little accelerometer for physics, and that's a lot of fun. So I hope the AP physics students really, are able to take data while they're also going quickly around corners. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Any other questions or comments from the board? Nobody wants to follow that? Thank you, Mr. McWhorter.
Thank you.
At this time, I will invite Dr. Davis, our Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, to the podium. He's giving me a
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Fleming. I have 2 grants to present to you today for information only. Jamie Brady was awarded a $1,600 grant through Impact Alamance's Parent Engagement Program. As part of the grant process, she selected South Graham Elementary School's Academically or Intellectually Gifted AIG program as her school partner to help expand access to educational resources. The grant will provide new resources for the AIG classroom, including Vets Go introductory robotics kits and accompanying curriculum materials to support STEM enrichment through Project Lead the Way program. The next grant, Meredith Eubank, a teacher from South Graham Elementary School, also received a $5,000 program expansion grant from Project Lead the Way. This grant will support the continued implementation of the Project Lead the Way launch curriculum, expanding enrichment opportunities to include 1st and 3rd grade modules, as well as additional introductory robotics materials. It's a total of $6,600. Next, we have 5 gifts. Alexander Wilson's Elementary School received a $1,000 donation from Oliver's Pack and Stack LLC. The funds will be used to construct shelters for the backfield and playground, an effort spearheaded by Sergeant Walter Ray of the Alamance County Sheriff's Department. Alexander Wilson Elementary School also received a $1,000 donation from Fresh Carolina LLC to support the maintenance of the school's nature trail. This gift represents the third installment of a 5-year reoccurring contribution. Williams High School received a $1,000 donation from Reverend Dr. Russell Martin. The funds will be used to restore the school's piano. Southern Alamance High School received $2,575.70 donation from All for Lunch Incorporated. This contribution will help reduce outstanding lunch debt. Howard Hannah Allen Tate Real Estate donated $4,000 to the Beginning Teacher Support Program. The funds will be used to support and mentor beginning teachers. That's a total of $9,575.70.
Thank you, Dr. Davis.
Appreciate it.
Yes, Mr. Rogers.
Just a quick question, Dr. Davis, which I think I'm going to talk to you off to the side about it, but allow for other folks to hear. When people want to make donations or gifts to the schools for various things, what is the process they just need to go through to do that?
Ultimately, they just need to reach out to me and I can connect them with the school if they do not know who to contact at the school. And there's a form they would fill out.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Thank you, Dr. Davis. At this time, I invite Christy Mills, the principal of Southern Alamance High School, to the podium. And Coach Jason Smith from Southern as well.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the school board, and Dr. Fleming. Thank you for allowing Coach Jason Smith and I the opportunity to speak with you today. Coach Smith is one of our math teachers, but he has also been our longtime varsity baseball coach. And we are here today to respectfully request the press box facility at the Southern Alamance Baseball Complex be named the Coach Eddie Wood Press Box. Eddie Wood started high school at Southern the year it opened, and he graduated in 1965. He has been a steady Southern supporter ever since. He raised a family in the Southern community, and he has assisted Southern Middle and High in a volunteer capacity from the 1980s until 2024. While baseball is his passion, you will find Mr. Wood at almost all of our athletic events. He has a kind word for everybody. In my 11 years at Southern, I have come to know that Mr. Wood does not know a stranger. He shows up in his truck and carries his preferred sitting stool and words of wisdom to each event. He is a member of our Athletics Hall of Fame, and his passion and commitment to Southern Alamance is an example we hope everyone in our community will use as an example of how to serve the people. Naming our baseball press box in his honor would be a fitting tribute to a man who has given so much to Southern. I know Coach Smith could go on and on. He's known Mr. Wood for decades. Mr. Wood still comes to all of our events. He helps at the football gate. He has even spoken to me about how I could dress more warmly at football games. So he's just a very kind and friendly individual who he really supports Southern, the staff, the students, and we would just appreciate your consideration in naming our press box after Coach Wood. Thank you.
Can I add a few things?
Absolutely.
All right. I could, like she said, I could go on and on. I think ultimately, when you name something on a school property after somebody, and then years later, people look at that name and they say, okay, what did this person do? You know, why are they up there? Well, Coach Wood is not up there for all the wins and everything. He's up there because he's a giver. In this world, we have so many takers, and he's a giver. And anybody that asks, why is his name up there, hopefully down the road, I can say, because that man gives, and gives to the school, gives to all the community members, gives to everybody. He's never took a dime. Like one year, we only had 3 coaches, and I put him down as the JV coach just on paper, so because we had to have somebody. He immediately, when he got that check, he went, cashed it, gave it right back to me and said, you better go put this in the Booster Club and we'll use that to buy whatever we need for baseball. That's the type of man he is. This year, when I give him his hat, he'll try to pay for the hat. Right? Countless meals he's bought for our kids, not just baseball, but whatever. If a kid needs something, he would take care of it. He's just a giver, and we need to celebrate givers. And so that's my hope that we can honor this man, and I can keep telling his story of we need to just give and give to each other. So, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you both for being here to share that. Questions or comments from board members at this time? Yes, Mr. White.
Just a quick comment. As a former baseball player in high school and college, I know how much a coach means to a kid's life and how impactful they can be to that child. And I want to commend Coach Wood for all his efforts at Southern. And I also want to thank all of our coaches now in this county for what you do for our children. Because of you, many students stay in school. Athletic programs keeps our kids in school. So I want to do a shout out to all coaches now in this county, all coaches across the country, because you really don't understand how positive an impact you can make in a kid's life today. So thank you for honoring him. I support this 100%. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Anything else? Yes, Mr. Rogers.
Just similar to Mr. Wagner, just thankful for all of our coaches, thankful for the words that you said, Coach Smith, about Coach Woods. And I think it is important to talk about the folks who are givers. And like you said, in a space where a lot of people just look to take, and having these folks that are givers. I know when we did like the basketball, it had to be like a whole court like mock-up, I guess, or whatever. With this being like a press box, I wouldn't think that would they need to go through a similar process like that, or I wouldn't think so, but I don't know for sure.
Not that's because court markups and field markups are a lot easier to do than facilities. I think what we would ask for our records is once it's completed, that we just have a copy of a photo of what it ends up looking like, or if they have a sign company or something like that, they can usually do like a PDF of the markup. So we'll get something like that. And we need it really just for our records down the road.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to understand that process, because I know we done the courts and stuff, but this one being a press box.
And it might be something, since this is the first that I've dealt with something other than a court or field or anything like that, we might need to think of that process, to be fair. Mm-hmm. I think at this point, and I think a lot of it is more for the historical aspect of it. We'll figure out a way here on out when we have these approved, what will they be doing? I think a lot of times we want to know if there's sponsorships involved, because if you have logos hanging off of schools, we want to know a background of that company. And so I think that's really more why we do those types of things.
Okay. I just wanted to ask just to make sure it would be nothing in the process for Principal Mills and them along the way or whatever.
We wouldn't ask them too much extra work.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Anybody else? I'll just say, as a Southern graduate, I can't think of anybody more deserving. And I think Jason said, or Coach Smith said it best, let's celebrate the givers. So pretty powerful. All right. So we will see that on our consent agenda for our evening meeting. All right. I think I'm inviting Dr. Davis back to the podium for policy updates.
Good afternoon again. I'm bringing back to the agenda 22 policies from North Carolina School Board Association's Fall 2025 policy update, along with one additional policy that's being proposed by the staff. Of the School Board Association's policies, 18 include recommended substantive changes, while 4 only contain minor revisions. I also wish to note that policy 7910, retirement, includes a section option for the board's consideration that was added after our last work session. This option incorporates more explicit language stated that the board will not pay, reimburse, or otherwise be responsible for any retirement benefit reduction unless it's agreed upon in the employee's contract.
Okay. Questions for Dr. Davis on any of these policies? Dr. Parker?
So I had a comment. I had asked a question about policy 7910, and I read it and had a little bit of difficulty understanding what exactly it meant. And Mr. Mitchell had provided an alternate wording that was legally equivalent from the standpoint of board policy. And I have a gentle preference that the board approves the option B rather than the initial. I don't know if folks have had time to look at it, but was going to, as part of the motion, suggested it be option B rather than the initial version. If there are no other comments, I make a motion to approve the fall policy updates, including option B for policy 7910.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Thank you, Mr. Engel. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Davis. And I believe at this time, Vice Chair has a motion for us.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board members, I make a motion we enter closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3 to preserve attorney-client privilege, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A6 to consider confidential personnel information protected under North Carolina General Statute 115C-319 and 115C-321.
Thank you, Mr. Ingles. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. At this time, we will move into closed session.
Yeah, my feelings are hurt over that.
We are back in open session. At this time, I invite Ms. Yolanda Anderson to the podium, our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, for our personnel report.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Fleming. I ask that you approve the personnel report as presented in closed session.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Is there any other business before the board this afternoon?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you for being with us today.